Hi, I'm from Bethlehem. You want to buy me? I'm just $5. Hey, welcome to this week's midweek chat. It's that time of year again. So we will be selling a lot of great stuff at church starting this weekend. We can't at the Saturday Mass this weekend, but the Sunday Mass is in the gathering space. Remember this? So a lot of people have these already. Isn't that beautiful nativity set? So these are made out of wool from Bethlehem sheep, and the wool is matted and pressed at the Parish community. See that? And then the Arabic name for it. See that? Parish is an international movement that seeks to build community between people with intellectual disabilities and those without those disabilities. And when I was on my sabbatical near Bethlehem, I volunteered there and spent really some beautiful time with them that whole 3 months, about once a week. And they need the support of others to keep their community going. So we sell a lot of their stuff. And St. Anne's in Wausau, I brought, I took some samples, and the people saw the samples I took. No, that's for Wausau. Don't take that. I'm like, oh, too late. But I'll get it back. It'll get to Father Lindner and the crew there. But just to give you an idea, so they make really some pretty cool stuff. They make the woolen sheep and the nativity sets. So I just brought a couple samples. Sometimes people maybe like a purse. This is really a quality purse. It's got suede and everything, and has the embroidery and that wool. We got, I think this is cool. I don't think people knew what it was last year. So this is olive oil soap. I don't know, I think it's made in Nablus in the West Bank. Then the people at large make the sheets. So it's exfoliating. This is great in the little olives, you know. This is great in the winter because it's olive oil soap, so it keeps your face clean but also moisturized with the olive oil, and you can scrub your face like that and exfoliates, right? Because it's got that nice woolen sheet. So those will be for sale. These are cool. Oh, well, should I take one out of the? It's taped shut. I just want to show this to you. You know where I am, by the way? I think you do. You're from Eau Claire. Look at these. They're little baby slippers, you guys. See, little baby slippers? So you can get some baby slippers if you have a baby in your life. Anyway, that's just a little sample. We have some other stuff. I have a friend who in Bethlehem also that's challenged economically because of the way that it's just tough. The West Bank economy is pretty tough for the Palestinian Christians there, and all the Palestinians. So I have this guy. He has a ceramic shop in Bethlehem, and I said, "Why don't you send us some stuff? We'll see if they can sell." I got these other things because I just saw a picture of it, and I thought it was like coffee mugs. It looks like a coffee mug, doesn't it? Coffee mug. But it's like a stein. I thought I was ordering mugs. So anyway, we got like 12 of these steins. I'm not sure. I'm hoping that someone might be interested in buying them, but we'll see. Anyway, I don't mean just to be a huckster today, but we're kicking off our Bethlehem sales. Good time to get some Christmas gifts for your friends and whatnot. So, and of course, if you want to compliment your nativity sets at home, we got the ever popular. We have the sheep I showed you, but camels. Okay. All right, so we thank all the folks there at the Large Bethlehem for sending us the stuff, and we hope to sell it and help support their ministry and their work. People with intellectual disabilities. All right, so, hey, we had an election day yesterday. I think the Wisconsin stuff's pretty settled. I'm not sure we're everywhere, but busy day today, a lot going on, so I haven't been watching TV much. It's always tense, isn't it? I read something. I tend to not like conflict, but I realize that there's a time and place for conflict to assert your convictions or my convictions. And yet the challenge is always to do so without losing a sense of decency and love, to speak the truth with love, when we really think something's true and right. And I was just talking to one of our staff members, and when you run programs and stuff, there's always people with different opinions about how to run things and stuff. and sometimes it can get contentious, it can get difficult. And she was just saying, we have this one of our volunteers who is just so, and probably has different opinions about stuff, but she said she's so easy to work with anyway. We just sit down and say, well, I think this and you think that, let's kind of work this out. How do you think we can do this? And even though it's like working through a difficulty, it can be pleasant. It doesn't have to be nasty and contentious. It doesn't have to make us frightful and upset, So I read an article about the midterm elections, and it just had a nice summary paragraph at the end, which appeals to me. I'll just read it to you. It says, the political debates before us are not unimportant, of course, to decide how we live together, right? But if Catholics see these debates rightly, we will never allow them to fundamentally orientate ourselves in opposition to other Catholics as the other. On the contrary, when we engage in political debate with our fellow Catholics, no matter how hot it gets, we rest assured knowing that what unites us will always be stronger and a higher priority than any political disagreement. That was by a guy named Michael Camosi. I like reading things like that. I just feel like we can really defeat the purpose of being truth and goodness seekers when being truth and goodness seekers makes us hostile to other people, So it doesn't have to be political debates. It could be like how you celebrate Mass or something like that, That's a great gift of the Eucharist, and I hope we can, more and more see that in the Eucharist. That it's not simply Jesus coming to me, but it's a communal celebration that really unites us as followers of Jesus, as people that want to carry on the light and life of Jesus. Do this in memory of me. Got a really funny reading coming up on. I think I can say it's funny. Can you say Scripture is funny? Paul is ticked off at the Thessalonians, some of them, in the second. I don't think I'll preach on it. Maybe, who knows? But he says we came to you and we spread the word, and now you're acting in a disorderly way. You're not getting along. We understand that a lot of you are. Just kind of lollygagging around and relying on other people to do all the work, and yet you eat their food. And it talks about eating food like twice in it. And it says rather than being busy yourselves, you're being busybodies. You're minding the business of others. You're involved. You're not really working for the common good. You're just kind of leeching off other people and kind of being gossipy. And that's no way to be. So he said, his conclusion at the end is, so work quietly and eat your own food. It's like kind of funny. So listen for that on Sunday. It's if I were a lector, it'd be a challenge, because it's kind of funny. You want to inflect it in a certain way, but yet when he was writing it, I think it was deadly serious. Like, we were praying that in staff today, and someone said, I wonder what Jesus, or was it pastoral council last night? I think it was. Was it Kevin or Joel? So I wonder what Jesus would have thought of that. You got St. Paul, the big evangelist, but you have Jesus, the source of it all. Would Jesus approve of the way Paul was talking to people? Eat your own food. And it says somewhere too, if you don't work, you shouldn't eat. So pretty hardball. Speaking of political debates, that's sounds like there was one brewing there in the first century in Thessalonica, in the early church. So I wanted to share that with you. I hope if there's any rifts or hard feelings among any of you because of the last election that we just had yesterday. It doesn't change what we believe. It's just we don't control everything. What we think is wrong, and what we think is right, and we go forward, and we break bread together on Sunday, and try to become kind and patient and justice makers in the world. We can't expect that all political decisions will be in accord with our own. So, anyway, where are we? Worms. Worms, what do you mean worms? So I don't remember, I remember a lot of things when I see the kids playing around in the school playground, you know, recess time and everything. You know, they'll pick up sticks and leaves and make snow forts when that time comes, and a lot of stuff that I did. Play King of the Hill. Though you can't play King of the Hill if the recess supervisors catch you doing that, then you're in trouble. But we loved playing King of the Hill when I was a youngster on those snowbanks when the snowplows go through the school parking lot. And anyway, today I come back. We were all at a mass, which I can talk about in a second too. We were all at mass at Regis High School because the bishop was in town, and so that was fun. I got to see the bishop and say hello to him. Don't get to see him all that often. Anyway, but I come back and all the kids came back for lunch, and then they're running around recess, and they're all, I come from the rectory and I see them in the distance, and they're all kind of in the parking lot. They're kind of looking down at the parking lot. I sort of gave away the lead already, but and then they're kind of holding stuff in their hands, and they're like, Father Tom, look. I'm like, what? Worms. I'm like, so they apparently, because of the rain and the milder weather, it's very nice out today. It's the worms came. I don't know how do they get on parking lots? You know, they come out. I can see how they come out of the earth, but they're like in the middle of the parking lot. You know, so they must. I don't know. Somehow they get out of the grass, or maybe the kids find them in the grass and dump them in the parking lot. But I don't remember that being a thing when I was young. I remember worms coming out and seeing a lot of them, but I never reveled in picking them up. And some of them had them in little baggies with grass, like they were going to save them. So, look, Mom, what I got brought home from school today. Yeah. So I don't know what else to say about that, really. The bishop, Bishop talked. It was Feast of St. John Lateran today, and he talked about the church in Rome there, the physical church. There's everybody from kindergarten to seniors in high school. One of the nice traditions they have at those all-system masses is seniors in the high school sit next to the kindergartners in the main section. So some of our kindergartners from St. James were next to the big football players, you know, and the young women there as well. And they all sit just like angels. That's probably why they do it. It's probably they feel pretty cool sitting next to the high school seniors, but it also is good for crowd control so they don't get too squirrely. Want to be on their best. They want to be messing around when they're next to a big high school senior. But truly, they were attentive and they just sat. You know, high school seniors all got their feet on the floor, and the kindergartners all got their feet hanging off the chairs like that, too short to touch the floor. Anyway, it was a nice service. I got a bunch of little things to say for parish news. Advent's coming up. Hey, we got 2 more Sundays that aren't Advent, and then it's the first Sunday of Advent. I guess it's the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So our religious ed staff, Kelly and Beth, they're going to hide an Advent candle. So there's a laminated colored drawing of an Advent candle, purple, 1 pink, 3 purple, and they're going to hide them somewhere in the church, somewhere in the entrance areas, or somewhere in the gathering space. And if you find it, then you go to this box and you can write your name on a little post-it and put it in the box, and there'll be a drawing. You could win a prize. So I asked, with my criminal mind, is there any proof that they found the candle? Because you're supposed to leave it there for other people to find too. Or can you just write your name on the slip and put it in? So I guess that hurt my chances of winning. They're not going to trust that my slip of paper is authentic. But they said, it's church. We got to trust each other. I'm like, okay, I support you. So that's one thing for Advent. Another thing they're trying to do, and this is not they don't expect a lot of people. They already have 2, but Kelly thought, let's do something for the post-confirmation group, Let's do something for the 16 to 19-year-old students. So on Sunday nights, there's going to be an Advent study. It's kind of, Kelly will be with him. Anything Kelly does is always engaging and enjoyable. So 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. each Sunday of Advent in the gathering space. And they already have 2 signed up, but she said, I think we need at least 4. So we got Brittany and Isaac on board. That's great. I don't know what a max would be. It doesn't sound like she wants it to be real huge, but just kind of a nice time to have some of our older youth that are, have a different outlook on life because of their age, engage the beautiful season of Advent and its themes and its meaning for us. So that's awesome. There's going to be a catechist retreat. It's just like idea after idea after idea. On December 13th, which is the feast of Saint Lucy, we had this school students dress up as saints. The 4th grade, they dress up as a saint and give a report. And someone was Saint Lucy. And I said, oh yeah, she's the one who went blind and plucked her eyeballs out, right? And I go, we don't have her eyeballs. But then she pointed, and there was a plate, and she had these 2 eyeballs on this plate. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, you got it. Anyway, that's the Feast of St. Lucy. That's when the Catechist Retreat will be. I think it's a Tuesday evening, again, 7 to 9. Time to, we had our pastoral council meeting last night, and they had been on that retreat day with Father Sweetser 2 weeks ago or so. And I don't know, I was just so impressed with them. They all felt like it was worth their time. It was 6 hours that they gave. And, they were forced as part of that retreat to pray, to meditate on something 3 times for 20 minutes each. And that's not something probably everybody does that much. And, uniformly they said that was really great. I don't do that very much. And it meant a lot to me, kind of the big picture of life. What are we doing here? What are we doing? It's pastoral council meetings. What we're doing as a parish. We might have great church floors, but are we working on each other's prayer life, our relationship with Christ, our relationship with each other? The substance of the good news. And so I think that was time and money really well spent having that retreat. But same thing with our catechist and Kelly. She's got a very strong spiritual thirst herself, and Beth, her partner in that, and so going to be an evening of reflection for Advent. I think the more we can offer that way, it's never going to be like huge. It's not like free food, pizza, come. But I would like, as pastor, I'm just so pleased when I see a spiritual thirst and I see people responding to a spiritual thirst by, wanting things like that, a day of reflection, an evening of reflection, and wanting to provide that for others. So we're going to have our word and music for Days of Holy Darkness, kind of our quiet retreat night on Monday night, December 19th. That'll be coming up again. Parish mission's already planned. Going to do that second weekend of Lent, so that's kind of far ahead. Cleaning party. Christine announced it with great animation last weekend. So because of all the work they're doing in the church right now, so we've been in Rourke Hall. We'll be in Rourke Hall again this weekend for our weekend masses. Daily masses are in the gathering space. But it's just a lot of dust. They're grinding up all the terrazzo and the actual stone. I'm not sure what terrazzo is. It's like a aggregate. It looks sort of like cement, I think, when they pour it in, but it ends up looking kind of like marble. But they're kind of getting to the base layer and kind of grinding it. So there's a lot of dust generated. And there's going to need to be a good big cleaning effort. And so we want to have it as fun as it can be. Pitch in to help make our church beautiful is the idea. And there'll be food. We'll have pizza, or Shirley said she's going to drop off some pulled pork for one of those days. Anybody who'd like to provide food for the workers, that's cool. But so make sure I got this. So some Friday, not this Friday, next Friday from 4 to 8, so after school, and then Saturday from 8 to 3, just a big cleaning effort. And if you have something, we'll try to have some things too, but if you have like mop, buckets, water, washcloths, rags, that kind of stuff, it's basically to give everything, kind of get rid of the dust that's gone everywhere, so that'll be good. And then and to enjoy each other's company doing so. Okay, great. Italian dinner reminder. If you bought a ticket for our Italian dinner, just a reminder, it's this Saturday, and it's going to be served in the gathering space because the downstairs will be set up already for masses. Okay. I was going to bring the book. The book is, if you still want to jump in on the book, I'm liking it. Everyone I know who's reading it is liking it. It's called Streams in the Wasteland. Ooh. It's called Streams in the Wasteland by Andrew Arndt, A-R-N-D-T. And it's about the desert fathers and desert mothers and the wisdom that they had in their lives and how it can help us in our day and age. And I'm really liking it. I'm about a third of the way through. I was going to show you the cover, but I didn't bring it. So we'll do a Zoom meeting that's a Wednesday, November 30th, 6:30 p.m., okay? We're going to have our ecumenical Thanksgiving service with Good Shepherd Lutheran. On the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I'm kind of getting lost on dates, I forget. So 20th is a Sunday, so it'll be the 22nd of November at 7 o'clock. And Mary Kolstad and the singers are collaborating with their choirs, so that'll be, I think Mary's actually going to do the piano playing, and their piano player is going to direct. Christina or I will do the preaching. Scandinavian cookies. Get your krumkaka. Get your pizzelles. Get your rosettes. Get your sun buckles. Order now. You can order now. So our PCCW women, a lot of them know how to make those Scandinavian holiday cookies. I don't know if they're Christmas cookies, but they're for sale. They're awesome. Some of those they're like the kind of a shortbread cup. You could put like a scoop of ice cream in it or something. Or they're good. They're good. So, and they're not easy to make. It's one of those things that'd be hard to make, but hey, I can buy some. Apparently they're $1 a piece, or you can get a dozen for $11. That's one free. Buy 11, get one free. That's what that is. So good deal. Okay, it's kind of a newsy day. Just lots of different things. We have Feast of St. John Lateran today. I remember I told this story last time. Remember this shoe story? I just love this shoe story. You know, I'm not going to get into the length of it, but I was on my sabbatical. I was on my way to Israel and Bethlehem, where I, worked with the people who made these sheep. But before I got there, I spent a week in Rome, and my shoes I bought them on a discount brokerage place, and they weren't good. I was making my feet sore, and I need these Hokas because they got a real firm foot sole. That's why I have my foot in a boot right now. I'm trying to get that corrected, why I needed these shoes. Anyway, it's a special shoe. I needed these shoes. And it's like, where in Rome? And so I Google it, and I only had one day left, and I really wanted to see the Church of St. John Lateran so bad. And so I do, but I needed those shoes, And so I Googled where, then there was one, way in the far suburbs. I wouldn't even known how to get there. And then the other one had an address, Roma. I'm like, okay, I wonder where that is. And I Google it, and the address, I Google the Google Maps, right across the street from St. John Lateran. And I went in, and I pointed to my shoes. She said, oh, Hoka. And she knew no English, and she just brought out a size. She looked at my size, and she brought it out. I was out of there in 3 minutes. That's great. It's perfect. I had all this time to go to Church of St. John Lateran. It's got a beautiful icon in there of Mary that the Pope processed around Rome with it when the pandemic hit Italy so hard. I don't know if you remember, that was one of the first places where you could just feel death in the air in Rome. And he got that icon because apparently it had some curative effect when the plague was going on. And so it's an icon of Mary and Madonna and Child. And so he did that. It's quite a photo if you ever saw it. It's just the Pope walking alone through the street of Rome. Apparently there's a photographer there too. And I think he's holding this icon. So anyway, that's there. There's a lot of, wait a minute, it's not there. I know it is there. I think it's there. It's either there in Mary Major. I'm sorry. But I never really spent a lot of time in Rome. It's just a gift to be able to have that week to go to churches and eat pasta. Okay, and tomorrow's St. Leo the Great. He talk about peacemaking. So a lot of people, believe it or not, talk about Catholics shouldn't make other Catholics the other because they disagree with them on a political issue or something. Well, it wasn't just political issues, it's like the nature of Jesus. So people would be at each other's throats, whether Jesus was divine or human, or how he was divine or how he was human. And Leo the Great came up with this compromise. He said, hey, Jesus Christ, the nature of Jesus, he was fully human and fully divine. Sometimes it's like a quiz I get people. Is Jesus 50% human, 50% divine? Mostly divine, a little bit human, mostly human, a little bit divine? or something like that. And then the D choice is 100% human and 100% divine. And that's the right answer. And it came from Leo the Great Compromise. People kind of got around that. We've been with it ever since. And what I really like about that, we were talking about this with our RCI group last Sunday. If something's 100% of both, that means they're not mutually exclusive. Like you can't be 100% oil and 100% water because they're separate. They would separate. And I think Leo's definition says without separation, without mixture. So it's not like it's like an alloy or something, but they're 100% fully human and fully divine. That's the nature of Jesus. You know, we're not like that, but we are invited to share in Jesus' divine life, and they're not mutually exclusive. So just because I'm human doesn't mean I can't participate in divine life. And how do we do that? Well, here's a clue. God is love, and all who live in love live in God. Okay, so that's Leo the Great. And then St. Martin of Tours' feast is on Veterans Day. It's good it's on Veterans Day. He was a soldier in Tours, I guess that was in France. And he had a heart for the poor. Poor guy begged him for money. He must not have had any coin on him, so he took his big soldier mantle and he took his sword and he cut it in two and he gave the poor man half to keep warm at night. And I was going to bring a little plaque my friend from Utrecht, Holland, gave me, because that's St. Martin's the patron saint of his city. And it's a nice picture of the St. Martin on a horse handing half of his vestment down to a poor man. So, okay, well, I think that's pretty much all I have. Sorry if I seemed like too much a huckster in the beginning with selling the Bethlehem goods. It goes to a great cause. And so I wanted people to know about it. All right, let's just take a look at this beautiful, I'm at the Confluence. I didn't say where I was, but that's the new Performing Arts Center in Eau Claire. It's not so new anymore, 3-4 years, but the lights are doing good. There's beautiful, called the Rainbow Bridge, but all the lights are out. I don't know what's wrong, but I'm a little bit ginky. See, I still have my boot and my leg in that boot. So, all right. So loving God, your world is beautiful. There's lots of hard things in the world, injustice, hatred, misunderstanding, people not treated well. Sometimes we just breathe and wonder why it can't be better. We see two rivers coming together to form one, the Eau Claire River coming from the left and the Chippewa River coming from the right, and becoming one. We pray for that kind of unity, Lord. We pray for that kind of unity in ourselves, that more and more we may be dedicated to living for you, to seeing your life within us as the only thing that we want to nourish and nurture and increase, the only thing worth giving our time to. We thank you for the gift of faith. And help us to be one with you and one with our neighbors. That can be difficult, but we need it so much. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord. And we pray that all unity may one day be restored, and they'll know we are Christians by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are Christians by our love. God bless you.